Okay, so the philosophical battleground again. I mean, to me, this is an admission I'm making. Okay, that there is this battle in my mind, latent maybe. Because though obviously, hopefully, it's not my style. It explains why I don't pretend to be above jumping in the middle of these things. They can be as petty as they want to be. I'll get in just with internet style. But also, it's a little bit different. It's not really my style. I don't really think of it as a battle. But see, I use this metaphor. And I invented this metaphor for myself as a way to escape actually being stuck in this perpetual battle when I knew what I really wanted was this collaboration on ideas, to build ideas, together. Both ideas that we would build together, maybe even one idea and share it, but more likely that we're just in the workshop together sharing tools and building our own little contraptions. Now, with the philosophical battlefield, then, the metaphor is that, okay, in general in the battlefield, you build this big robot death machine, like an exoskeleton mech warrior, and you get in it, and you bash the other guy. Okay. Now, my stance of escaping that is that I go into the battlefield, because I want to go into the battlefield still. That was part of the goal, to go in and take part, but I don't want to have to wear an exoskeleton. I want to go just, as a bare person with just a utility belt or something at the most. In other words, I want to be more like the ninja. I want to be able to be an individual, operate as an individual, and not have contraptions. I just want to be nimble instead. And I also want to be like the sumo ninja, with just a good center of mass. Because see, 90% of these mech warriors are such contraptions, so flawed, and the wiring is flawed, and the operating system's by Microsoft, and these things, you can throw a cup of water on them, and they'll short out, or they're made of balsa wood, and one kick to the timber, and boom, it's gone. And so that I can just stand my ground as the sumo ninja. And that's what I do. And so when people wonder, like, if somebody's really rude to you, and you fucktard, blah blah blah, insults you somehow, you're boring, whatever. Why do you talk? Well, why do you still talk to that person? Well, here's the way it works. Okay, first of all, being online, I've learned to be impervious to that kind of stuff. All it tells me is that the person wants to inflame me. If somebody's freaking out and actually pounding, breaking doors down, doing something physical, and they're blurting this exertions out of cussing, that's one thing. But if they're in a conversation with you and they're doing that, and they fall into that regularly, either intentionally or unintentionally, it's a manipulative behavior. They're trying to inflame and control your anger as well, and bring your anger so that they're dealing anger to anger, because that's how that works. And even if I get the details wrong, it's something like that. They're invoking this pattern with this anger that they use. Okay. And all it really tells you is that somebody is rude, they have no respect, and things like this, and they want to bother you. Okay. In real life, I'm like, that person doesn't respect me. I don't want to know them. Okay. But just in general, there would be exceptions, no doubt. But online, why do I not react the same way? Well, because, in this battlefield thing, which is still going on, we are in this battlefield. Even when we do it as ninjas, it's just a more... when we join together and I don't know how to express the metaphor there right now. Yeah, so you're in the battlefield and you want to do ponage type things still, and even when you're when you're discussing this with a collaborator and you don't want to actually defeat them, there's a contest, and you're still in the same arena where you might run into somebody that really does need their machine torn down, because maybe then they'll build another one, and it'll be a little bit better. And, because I kind of like the machines, I just find them cumbersome, and I'd rather not be encumbered by them. Some people do this and burn out or flame out, or actually, drive to people's houses. And, lesson, by the way, if you have to look up the definition of stalking in order to know if you're doing it, then, you are, and, just don't do that. Whatever. If in general, if you're seeking a technical definition, then you're at the borderline usually of something. So So yeah, but the point is, if you don't want to burn out on this, then the people that you keep demonstrating the fallibilities of their machinery, and you keep reflecting and are impervious to the attacks of their inadequate, uh, missiles and rocket launchers or whatever they're using, their nets and their ropes and tractor beams and whatever they've got in store, and you just keep defeating it. Well, why wouldn't you keep doing that? You're going out into the same battlefield. Why wouldn't you keep engaging with these people just because they were wrong? And especially, oh, they're rude. Well, then they're wrong right away. I mean, there's plenty of people that we see right away, just in a shallow sense. It's like the person that is getting so infuriated has marks against them. If they don't know who's right or wrong or don't have an opinion, then that will weigh heavy in their mind. Now, if they do have an opinion about what's the actual content, then they'll ignore that. Especially tend to ignore that in the person whose opinion they support. They'll ignore that or even think, oh, it's justified. We can't blame him. Of course he's mad. But that's fine with me because I ignore it. If I'm talking with somebody and they're doing that, I tend to ignore it. I might mention it because it has this aspect of you're trying to manipulate me. But even that, that's just pretty much obvious. Any decent person watching, decent thinker, not decent person, but decent thinker watching, will know how to handle that on their own. They don't need a lot of commentary from me. And so, in that sense, I ignore it. Obviously, somebody doing that's not trying to be a friend or friendly to me, really, in the long run. But in terms of an intellectual acquaintance, taking part in this dialogue, I would even say there could be a friendship there. On the other hand, that person ought to feel a little ashamed if they're treating a friend that way. But whatever. Cheers.